Good morning, Kitchen Witches. This is your tarot and menu planning inspiration for the day. I am Chef Lisa, editor-in-chief of A Chef's Grimoire magazine. And we're going to pull one card. That's going to be everything we need to know. So whenever you are tuning in, welcome. The Chef's Grimoire magazine is exactly how we do this. We use the tarot cards as our inspiration for menu planning. The archetypes, the major, the minors, right? They all have something to say when it comes to preparing food. And we do deep dives, figure that all out, and we give you new inspirations so you're not constantly making the same old, right? The tarot cards lead you in the direction, right, that you need to go. And then you can get creative from there. That's what they are for, right, is getting creative. Even when you're doing a reading, right, you're getting creative with the story that they tell you. So, that said, what is our card for today? The Four of Swords. Yesterday we had the Six of Swords. Interesting. The Four of Swords is a minor arcana. It is ruled by the Emperor because the Emperor is the fourth card in the major arcana. And all of the minors are ruled, with the exception of the court cards, are ruled by a major. So if you're learning tarot for the first time, please learn the major arcana first. That is going to set you on the right path for learning the rest of the cards, and it'll be a little easier because in knowing that the Emperor has weight under this card and is holding this card up, we then can start to really understand what this card is about. So if you never have seen tarot cards before and you're looking at this card, you're saying, okay, so we see what looks like a knight is resting on top of this coffin, so to speak. What are those things called where the shape of the body is carved into the coffin where the remains of that person is. It starts with an E. I can't remember what, you know what I mean. But you could think that that's something like that. There's also four swords that are, actually there's three swords that are embedded in the wall here, facing downward towards that person. And then there's one sword that is right underneath them. So four altogether. There's also a stained glass window that has it looks like, I don't know, it looks like the Virgin Mary kind of, with a halo over their head looking down at the knight. So to me, if I was never to have seen a tarot card before, I would think, okay, knights mean battle. This knight is resting in a church with their weapons put up against the wall. So it's maybe a time of peace. But it's also a time of rest, right? And they're resting in a very sacred place. So, and that's, you know what? Exactly what this card means. It means taking a rest, but remember, the Emperor has weight under this card, and it's numbered 4. 4 is structure. So this knight is taking a very well-needed, repurposed rest, only to go back into the battle, right? So this is the time to recuperate, rest in a very structured way. It's not just taking a rest just to take your mind off of things. It's really recuperating, right? I don't know how else to say it. So if you get this card, say it's part of our day, right? And you've just gone through a pretty hard situation. I don't know, maybe Let me think. Maybe you just had something at work happened and you had to put out a whole bunch of fires, and it's now the weekend, and even though you put things to bed on Friday, you know come Monday you're going to have to deal with all the repercussions of what happened on Friday. You may even have to hear about it over the weekend, but if you're doing it in a very structural way, you're going to take the weekend to rest, to think, right? Remember, swords are about our mental capacity, right? So you're going to take the weekend to think, recuperate from what happened, so that when Monday rolls around, you have all the answers you need to do cut and dry, yes, no, this is what happened, this is why. So that's a restful period for recuperation, right? Because you're going to go back into the battle, but you're going to go in pretty much having a solid idea of what the outcome is going to be. Yep, Four of Swords. It's fantastic. I kind of wish that every big big large thing could have a rest period before the next thing, but that's not always the case. So it's a sacred place, remember, with the church stained glass. It's a very sacred time, so use it wisely. The emperor would approve of that. Yeah. So now we have to nourish ourselves while we're in deep thought and recuperating, right? So let's make some meals that take a thoughtful break. Well, for breakfast, we're going to whip up something, but let's do it with forethought. Let's do it while things are crazy, and then let it rest overnight. So it too gets a restful repurpose. We're going to do an overnight oats. Easy enough, right? So you're gonna make your oats, go to whatever recipe that turns you on from online, right? You can use whatever is available seasonally to put in there. If it's summer, use fresh fruits. If it's winter, you can use frozen fruits. If it is spring, maybe you do a rhubarb and strawberry. So you get the idea, right? You're going to zhuzh up your oats with something delicious, but you're going to make the oats with the batter, and then you're going to pour it into your casserole dish, cover it, put it in the fridge, forget about it until the next morning when you bake it off. And that's a nourishing, wonderful breakfast that you have had, not only you have rested on, but it has rested on itself to give you more nourishment the next day. So I love that. That's overnight oats for breakfast. Moving on to lunch, we're going to make it super simple. We're just going to do some artisan cheese, right? So you can go to your local cheese shop, whatever that is. If it's a standalone or a mom and pop cheese shop, terrific, because I love those. But it could also be the supermarket cheese aisle, right? But grab some things that you really like. You don't have to give it much thought. Remember, we're trying to ease our thoughts and go into a restful period. So just go to the ones that you know you like. Many people like manchego. Many people like cheddars, right? Many people like brie. So pick out the ones that you really like. Get some jams, get some grapes, get some crackers, olives, make yourself a beautiful little cheese board. If you want to, you can add some charcuterie as well. So a little sausage, a little prosciutto, serrano ham, even, liver pate is lovely, right? And you just make it beautiful. And you can do this the day before if you really want to. It doesn't have to be grandiose unless you're feeding a crowd and then you really want to put effort into it. But this is what you want to avoid, right? You want to make it easeful, restful. And when you're eating it, you want to be very mindful. So that's why I like the idea of a charcuterie or a cheese board, because you're picking something like a grape. and you're going to put that single grape into your mouth, and you're going to go, that's really yummy. I bet that would really go good with a piece of cheddar. And then you take a piece of cheddar and you put that in your mouth, and you're like, this is wonderful. I wonder what that tastes like with a little onion jam. And then you put that in your mouth. See where I'm going? So it's mindful eating, because you're tasting everything. And then you're starting to pair, and you're starting to repurpose the flavors into different little delectable bites, right? This one goes with this goes with this. It's lots of fun. And it takes, you're not really thinking, although you're being creative. So yes, do that for lunch. For dinner, well, here's where we're going to really take a break. We're going to go out to eat, but we're just not going to go for pizza. We're going to go for poke bowl, right? Or poke. I'm not sure how the exact pronunciation is. I call them poke bowls. But basically, it could be a sushi bowl. We want it to be nourishing, right? So it's rice is usually what is the base of the bowl. And then you can add salmon, right? You could do a salmon bowl where it's raw salmon that's just mixed with the salad dressing of soy sauce, rice vinegar. You can add a touch of maybe syrup or honey, lime juice, right? And the lime juice is almost going to do what's like a ceviche. It's going to kind of just cook the outside from the acid of the lime. And you're going to mix all that together, put it on top of the rice. Next to that, you're going to seek out or make a seaweed salad. That's going to go in the center. And then you're going to take some pickled ginger, put that on the side, some sliced red cabbage, some cucumbers, right? Whatever other beautiful toppings you want to put on there. Sprinkle it with a little black sesame seed, which is a nigella seed. And yeah, delicious, right? And the rice you can make as a sushi rice if you wish. That's a little special and more technique-y than just making rice on the stovetop, right? If all you have is a box of Uncle Ben's, do that. But we're going out, so usually the restaurant will season the rice as well with something. A perfectly seasoned sushi rice is, you've got the vinegar, you've got sugar, you've got salt. And sake sometimes goes into it. And it's like a sweet and sour that makes the rice delicious. So there you go, poke bowl. And the restaurants are popping up all over the place. You can get ones that are a little more favored, like the Hawaiian poke bowl. Those have a little more sugar, right? So you just want to be mindful about which one you're getting, because you want it to be nourishing. You don't want it to be sugar laden. Yes. So, yeah. So dine out, right? Don't give it much thought. Just find yourself the most nourishing, healthy takeaway meal you can find. In my mind, it would be something like we said, a poke bowl. But yeah, I mean, you could just get a piece of grilled chicken with broccoli and roasted potatoes and say, that's good enough for me. Whatever. But know that it's going to not be something that's pressing on your mind. It's something that's effortless, right? You're going out to eat, you're not making it at home, and it's going to restore and rejuvenate you in your restful time before you hit the ground running. However you do today with the Four of Swords, that card would want you to nourish yourself and nourish all those around you with your kitchen magic. And if you get a moment, go to achefsgrimoire.com. You will find all the information for the magazine, if it's something that lights you up and you want to pursue. See you tomorrow.